Welcome, everyone, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Jen Cato, Chief Marketing Officer here at Travelport, and I will be your MC today. We've been working hard on developing what modern retailing means for the travel industry, and we're excited to say hello and present our thinking to you today, along with some advances you can start using right now. But before we get into our agenda, though, some quick housekeeping notes. All lines have been muted, so we don't have any crosstalk, but we are open to your questions. So please use the Ask a Question feature on your screen. Also, as you know, video takes a lot of processing power, so you'll have the best experience if you close all the other tabs on your browser. And finally, all of this content will be available on demand after the event if you'd like to share it with those colleagues who couldn't attend today. You can find it at Travelport Plus, which is www.travelport.com/plus. Now, I know I started by saying welcome, but to actually welcome you today, I'd like to introduce Travelport Chief Executive Officer Greg Webb.
Thanks, Jen, and welcome everyone. As most of you know, Travelport is dedicated to accelerating the very necessary modernization of retailing and travel industry. In the last few months, you've seen our first steps, moving from announcements to action. We've refocused our entire business on our core strengths, connecting buyers and sellers of travel through a single, independent, unconflicted marketplace. Today's consumer expects transparency, honesty in both breadth and depth of offering, and that allows us to embrace our unique strengths, our agility, our independence, and our ability to think long-term and make the bold and unrestrained decisions that will enable us to meet those expectations while simplifying travel's complex ecosystem. The first step in bringing that into the world was the launch of our next generation platform, Travelport Plus. This multi-year investment packs a capability-rich retail marketplace into a simplified, easy-to-use system that is already rolling out and getting great feedback from both agency and supplier customers. It's really gratifying to see, and I thank those of you here today that have been our earliest users. We will be talking more about this later today, but we have formed a long-term partnership with Amazon Web Services to both optimize the Travelport Plus platform and drive innovation in travel merchandising. With 20 years experience powering the world's most sophisticated retailer, there's no better partner than Amazon Web Services to achieve our vision of modernizing travel retailing. We are so proud of our progress to date, but we're just getting started. Today, we will bring you up to speed on everything, including why we feel modernizing travel retailing is so important. We'll talk about how we will continually advance the platform to add capabilities with our regular updates that will drive value for all our customers. We'll take a deep dive into the Amazon Web Services partnership, and you'll see why it's more than just a cloud agreement. We'll show you some research we've commissioned that will dive into a topic critical to every travel company. And we'll announce another partnership that will help us improve our effectiveness selling travel in both physical and digital settings. But first, we wanted to take a moment and outline the problems we're trying to solve.
Travel retail is not what it should be. Complexity gets in the way. Change comes too slowly and with too much pain. Lists of options with no guidance can leave travelers lost. Retailing has changed dramatically over the last 10 years. Amazon, Netflix, Alibaba, Apple. Companies like these have become the most valuable in the world because they shape consumer expectations and fulfill their promises. Travel retailing has not kept pace, and even though it works, it's broken. If it's going to be fixed, we all need to see the problems and collaborate on the solutions. Winning has always looked like a happy customer. It's what it takes to make them happy that's evolved. Let's evolve for them.
Hello again. No one likes it when you just point out problems and offer no solutions. Here to likably talk about how we've developed the solutions we've announced are our Global Head of Agency Sales, Jason Toothman, and our Chief Commercial Officer, Jason Clark.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting us into your day. As we talked about how best to move travel retailing into the future, we focused on three critical areas: technology, trust, and sales. Modern retailing depends not only on having technology, earning and maintaining trust, and excellence in execution around selling, it also depends on balancing them all because they are all completely interdependent. Technology is table stakes in 2021, right? Well, there may be tech under every hood, but the infrastructure you built years ago had certain assumptions built in that don't apply anymore. Travelport Plus creates a simplified marketplace for travel retailing. But simple doesn't mean stripped down. Already robust, over the next months, we will introduce a series of new products and capabilities to complement the platform that will continually advance your retailing offering. We'll talk more later today about the updates Greg mentioned.
But while having modern retailing tools is critical, they're not enough on their own. We have to understand that technology isn't only about functionality, it's about philosophy and mindset. The tools have to facilitate building trust with travellers. Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, "Trust, or the lack of it, is at the root cause of success or failure in relationships and the bottom line result of a business." If you put that into a sales context, if you aren't trusted, you can't sell. But if you are trusted, you can sell. You can cross-sell and you can upsell. You can do everything you need to do to be successful as long as you maintain that trust. So you may be asking yourself, what does that have to do with technology? Well, people have relationships with technology platforms. How it feels to use them, what results it yields, whether it's simple or difficult to interact with. And did you understand how the tech understood what you wanted in order to provide you the answers? By example, why is Google more popular than Yahoo ever was or than Bing is? And it's because different experiences. People who come to Google to do a search trust Google so much that they'll often delay their search for whatever information they came for in order to explore, say, a Google Doodle, and they'll learn about something that's been promoted. For example, a famous scientist. And because trust is so important, we commissioned research from the world's leading authority on trust, Edelman, to examine how well the travel and tourism industry is doing in our relationships with consumers.
The third leg of modern retailing is sales excellence. When you're trusted and capable, you have the opportunity to sell. Opportunity, though, is not destiny. Sellers still have to woo, they still have to package. And that's why the most effective selling is done on an emotional level. It's a concept that has been studied at length in social psychology and is increasingly informing the sales and marketing efforts of some of the most advanced companies in the world. In fact, recent studies have shown that sales that rely primarily on emotional appeal rather than on rational persuasion are twice as effective. We're pleased to share today that we have partnered with distributed neuroscience platform Immersion. You'll be hearing from Immersion founder J Zak today. Paul will talk about the emerging ability to quantify the emotional responses of consumers to different types of experiences and messages. Immersion will be helping us to better understand what drives emotional engagement into the sales process around travel. And now I'd like to turn it back over to Jen to talk about our research on trust.
Thanks, JT. Let's talk about trust. As a marketer, I understand intuitively that the only way to sell is by making compelling promises that the business then keeps. Selling, in other words, involves the constant maintenance of trust with your buyers. But trust has taken a huge hit this last year, and in fact, in the last several years. We see it in the declining trust in news, or is it fake news? In the spread of misinformation over social media, in the breakdown between governments and citizens over COVID, and in greater political division worldwide. Trust takes a long time to build and can be broken in an instant. So we were curious after this last really troubling year for travel, how travelers feel about our industry. So if there are issues to work on with trust, we can know what they are, and we can work on them right away. So we turn to the worldwide leading authority on trust in business, Edelman. They track trust across many industries every year and have done so for over 2 decades. We commissioned a study specifically looking at how the travel and tourism industry stacks up and how travelers perceive suppliers and agencies after the pandemic, as well as how they perceive the travel retailing experience overall. We surveyed 1,000 people in each of 10 countries: the UK, Italy, Spain, Saudi Arabia, the US, Canada, India, Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. 10,000 respondents in all. And we asked them questions that touch on different elements of trust. Now, we are going to mainly talk about global averages today, in the interest of time, of course, but it is important to note that there was a good amount of variety across different countries. In general, trust trends lower across all industries in countries with higher levels of democracy and press freedom. And in some places, there is a clear local interest. For example, we found that the energy industry generally does not score high on trust, but in Saudi Arabia, it scores pretty high. Indonesia is very trusting across all industries. So trusting, in fact, that we didn't trust it. And since we want to talk about averages, and Indonesia is such an outlier, we remove them from the data set. So why does this matter to us? Why is trust important? Well, 46% of respondents say that they prioritize trust over all other factors when it comes to selecting a travel provider. 49% say that when a supplier or agency is trusted, they will consider purchasing additional items. And 42% will consider upgrading their package over and above what they were already prepared to spend. So, trust really matters. And for everyone outside Indonesia, I have some hard news. Worldwide, only 3 industries are moderate or high in trust. Those are healthcare, food and beverage, and technology. Now, in the year of the vaccine, it's no surprise that healthcare tops that list. Bottom of the list, financial services. And that's never a surprise, actually. In fact, the bottom 3 are all pretty universally looked at as self-interested, with companies hiding fees, creating arcane rules that work against the average consumer, and generally just trying to turn you upside down and shake you until money falls out of your pockets. But why the poor scores for our industry? Well, 3 out of 4 respondents report having had their trust broken at least once by a travel supplier. And agencies are only slightly better, with 7 in 10 having had their trust broken by a travel agency. But there's good news. It is the year of the vaccine, and we are all in the process of reopening. We believe that for one of the only times in our lives, the ability exists, especially for travel, to wipe the table clear and have a reset. Travelers are eager to get back on a plane, and they're giving the industry pretty high marks for dealing with COVID. So now we think they're going to be watching and waiting to see what we do next. They can forgive their past experiences if we are trustworthy now. So how do we need to think about this? Well, of all the suppliers, the type that respondents say has earned the most trust is major international hotel chains. I think if you asked a hotel manager whether they are in the travel and tourism industry, they'd say, well, sure, but mostly we are in the hospitality industry. The hospitality industry and the transport industry often provide a very different customer experience, with the hospitality world keeping customer experience top of mind, while transport can sometimes feel like a commodity. And it's very difficult to feel connected to a procedure and regulation-driven commodity. We are seeing a number of airlines call travelers guests these days, and while some have clearly taken a more guest-forward approach, it's important for everyone to go beyond just the word and really adopt that relationship with travelers. And of course, this is all very understandable. In any destination, there are numerous hotels competing at different price points. So competing on service within your price band is a given. Whereas there are many fewer choices for transport routes, and competition has mainly been about price. So carriers have to get margin where they can, and that often comes at the sacrifice of comfort and a leveraging of things like bag fees and $9 cans of beer. Economy travelers are paying less, and so they should expect less. But for many of them, and especially in this economy, paying less is still paying a lot of money for them. Even though they aren't paying for hospitality, what they feel is inhospitable. And so our study shows that discount airlines are significantly less trusted than major carriers. In fact, when asked what the most important factors are in establishing trust with a travel company, the top factor travelers mention is no hidden costs. But 60% say that factor is disappointing. No hidden costs is fully 16% more important to people than a carrier's long-term safety record. More important than safety. Think about how people are used to buying online. Transparency is built in for modern retailers. Customers have been trained by online retailers to expect transparency and personalization. Amazon and its pricing and recommendations, Alibaba, Blue Apron, and Rent the Runway, they have clear cost structures and the product feels very much for you. People have also been trained into publishing their opinions of every commercial interaction. Yelp is a website, yes, but it's also a mindset. Disappointing expectations or focusing marketing on the wrong things can be really costly for suppliers. And when a traveler has a negative experience, they talk about it. 9 out of 10 do. And 4 of 10 will post about it online. So disappointing trust goes beyond the individual. It actually creates negative media value for your brand. Now, some portion of your marketing budget is wasted in that situation because of problems of your own making. Not disappointing trust means you can either spend less or you can make your marketing spend more effective in gaining net new business. And let's talk about word of mouth for a moment. The only sources that people don't largely distrust are word of mouth, and that varies widely by age. Half of Gen Z, for example, doesn't even trust their family and friends. But the only people they trust less are everybody else. Now look at the difference with millennials. And nobody trusts celebs and influencers. If you look like you're shilling, your credibility is zero. In fact, the theme here is that if you have a financial interest that isn't aligned with the travelers, you're viewed with suspicion. Now, the funny thing about Gen Z is that while they are the least likely to trust travel companies, they are the ones that the news reports say are bailing on their jobs to go travel. Travel is a meaningful experience to them, and Gen Z has reached the age where they are a massive economic force. So, the biggest pot of business for suppliers and agencies alike for many years to come is the most distrusting of us. And that's going to be a problem if it's not addressed. Now, our agency friends may be wondering what they can do to better build trust. You are at the very start of a trip, even if it's months before the travelers get to the gate. Travel agencies are also lagging when it comes to trust, according to our study, with a range of 36% to 47%, depending on what type of travel agency you are. If you think back to where people get reliable information on travel, reviews are the top source, even for Gen Z. Reviews are a big part of the modern retailing experience. Imagine buying something from Amazon without at least reading one of the verified purchaser 5-star or 1-star reviews. You just wouldn't. Yet there's not really review functionality for the most part on online travel agency sites, and that's, apart from the big hotel sites. So what would be almost as good? Agencies taking a curatorial approach and giving helpful advice to their customers. We can all learn from the data, just like Netflix does, in order to make recommendations and to greenlight programming. Now that may seem difficult to do in depth at scale for travel, but anything that helps the traveler reduce the list of available transport, hotels, and prices to something more manageable and personal would help forge bonds with customers. Finding ways to curate travel experiences rather than just provide bookings, even of previous travelers who visited Rome frequently booked these hotels, is creating a trusting relationship with the agency, assuming that the traveler then has a good experience at one of your recommended spots, and assuming those recommendations are not sponsored. Curation comes from having the right content, enabled through initiatives like NDC and others, and having the right tools. Tools that help agencies advise rather than simply transact with travelers are a game changer. One aspect of curation is personalization. When people trust a company, they don't mind it using personal data from your previous activities with that company, for example. But if you start using data you scrape from other places, people will catch on quickly, and it feels a little creepy. Trust can be damaged. So calibrating how much to rely on outside sources of personal data is crucial as the technology enables more and more personalized results as we move forward. And finally, the no hidden fees mandate from customers applies equally to agencies as it does to carriers. When you select a flight listed with a certain cost, you shouldn't then find out that if you want to bring a bag, it's extra, or if you want to bring the lower half of your body, it's extra. Oh, and what's that daily resort fee you didn't tell me about before I checked in? Transparency is key. I said earlier that we have a rare opportunity to reset how people perceive travel businesses. People are clearly looking forward to traveling again, and they are giving the industry pretty high marks for dealing with COVID. Now, we have a really solid crisis here that we should not let go to waste. In the technology world, we think of everything as a service, software as a service, media as a service. Well, the mindset here has to be travel as a service, not simply booking as a service. Travel agencies of old help people curate trips. An agent, quite literally, is defined as a person who acts on behalf of another person or group, or a person that takes an active role or produces a specified effect. We are all here to produce the specified effect of travelers being happy with their experiences from start to finish, from booking through departure through return. Because we can do that now in a way that we couldn't perhaps when technologists first started laying the pipes for connecting offers with transactions. We can do so much more with technology than just transact. Think about this. People were used to linear television or musty TV Thursday nights here in the US. But we are in a video on demand world now because technology freed the viewer from the program schedule. Today's customers expect an experience to be what they want, when they want it, not what we want them to want. What it takes from us all is better tech, which, believe me, we will be talking a lot about today, enabled by a change in mindset. Let's do the things that make travelers happy, that engender rather than sacrifice trust. And then a fruitful future awaits. Now, trust is one of our more rationally based emotions. But as JT said, emotion is often at the core of a successful sale. Our next speaker is J Zak, founder of Immersion, who's going to blow your mind on the ways we can quantify and therefore predict emotional responses in the travel selling business. Their technology is already informing companies like Accenture and BBDO. Paul?
Thanks, Jen. Hi, I'm J Zak. I'm a professor at Claremont Graduate University and the founder of Immersion Neuroscience. I'm a behavioral neuroscientist, and I've spent the last 20 years trying to understand what happens in the brain when people have extraordinary experiences. What this research shows was a neurologic state occurs that I've named immersion that tells us something amazing is happening. We know something amazing has happened because immersive experiences cause people to take actions. Immersion is made up of two core components, attention and emotional resonance. Attention is associated with the brain's production of dopamine that binds in the prefrontal cortex. Oxytocin, which generates emotional resonance, comes from the brainstem and binds to regions throughout the brain. When these two factors co-occur, experiences are enjoyable and memorable. When I started Immersion Neuroscience, my goal was to democratize neuroscience, get it out of the lab and make it available for anybody to use. So Immersion Neuroscience is a software as a service platform that lets anybody measure how much the brain values extraordinary experiences in real time, any place people are. There is no personally identifiable information on the site. It allows you to have real-time measures at 1 second frequency that tell us exactly how much this experience creates value in the brain. And those valuable experiences, as I said earlier, are acted on. Let me give you a couple of examples of how brands use the Immersion Neuroscience platform to create value. One of our first clients was the global advertising agency BBDO. So BBDO challenged us to get the best possible prediction of people's actions from a small number of brains. This is sometimes called neuroforecasting. So they gave us 18 of their ads they had produced for 6 different brands, and they challenged us to predict which of those ads had the biggest sales bump. So again, the creators of those ads at BBDO all thought they were great, but some hit and some didn't. The question was, could neuroscience predict hits from flops? And indeed, we could do that with 83% accuracy without even knowing what the hits and flops were. That's really amazing, and that was done 4 years ago. Today, emergent neuroscience consistently predicts market outcomes with 80+% accuracy across a range of factors. Let me give you a second example. We have a current client who is in the luxury retail business. It's a name that you would know. Because immersion captures interactions between people, it captures the social value of what's happening. This brand had their salespeople wear smartwatches where we can pull neurologic data and shoot it to our platform. And they wore those smartwatches while they were on the sales floor. They used those data to predict which individuals, which customers would purchase with 87% accuracy. And indeed, the more immersive that experience was between the salesperson and the customer, the more money that customer spent. And this is luxury retail, so in the study that they worked on with us, the average sale was over $300 and the maximum was nearly $3,000. So this is real money on the line, and it's being driven by that amazing sales experience that these customers have. So without measuring brain activity, your batting average for sales, for advertising, for marketing is generally 20 to 30%. You're going to hit the ball out of the park. But with immersion, you can be guaranteed to have 80 to 90% hits by measuring every stage of the production of that experience. From editing ads to training salespeople and creating immersive states so that people have tension in their brains. That's one way to think about immersion. It's like tension built up in your brain, and when customers take an action, they release that tension. So in particular, you want to create the sales experience so that the call to action, the call to purchase, occurs at a peak immersion moment with highest tension. So immersion shows you data second by second in real time, any place people are, at home, on the couch, in the office, even on vacation. And we all want to have amazing vacations, have extraordinary experiences, and immersion lets you communicate that in the most effective way to your customers. We're thrilled to be partnering with Travelport to really improve the process of creating extraordinary experiences for your customers. Travelport will be using the Emergent Neuroscience platform to better understand how travel companies can build emotional engagement with travelers during the sales process and therefore drive up sales. They will examine experiences in physical, digital, and omni-channel settings. And the key lessons they find will be reported back to the industry. This is a really important approach as we have this much more complex, everywhere happening set of core choices. So the only way we can really be great at that is to measure, iterate, and improve. And the Emergent Neuroscience platform gives Travelport the most effective way to share that with the industry. Thank you for listening. Back to you, Jen.
Thanks, Paul. Mind's blown yet? All right, we're going to all bring this back to Travelport Plus now.
Hello, Travelport Plus. A simpler, faster, more engaging platform for everyone. It's time to take control of the retailing experience and put you in the driver's seat. With enriched content to help travelers make the right choices, with better retailing through dynamic pricing, personalized offers, and contactless pickup, and with more value through automation tools and modern exchange capabilities. And that's just for starters.
We all want to be modern. I mean, who doesn't want to be modern? The Travelport Plus platform, available today, right now, can do all these things. But Travelport Plus is our long-term platform, so we are going to be introducing new capabilities forever. So we will be getting more and more modern all the time. We want to be like electric cars putting gas engines in the rear view mirror. And buggies, they're not even visible anymore. So here to talk about what is coming initially is our Global Head of Customer Strategy and Marketing, Kyle Moore.
Hey, I'm Kyle Moore. We've known for a long time that our customers would benefit tremendously from simplification, as well as a focus on more content, better retail, and best value. We've been delivering toward Travelport Plus for some time, and our customers that are already on the Travelport Plus platform have seen that more and that better emerge. We have a heavy foot in the accelerator toward our launch of the new platform and the work we're doing helping our customers transition to it. We've been competitive in the market since long before Travelport Plus, but with it, we are uber competitive. We can respond faster to market changes than anyone else, and we can provide more flexibility and actually compete on agility. We've been delivering more for our customers, and I love hearing that they are seeing it. Our industry has never been known for turning on a dime, but that's never been more important than it is in the current environment, and we don't see that going away. The pace of change outside the travel industry is too fast for anyone to think that the pace of change inside traveler can simply plod along. I mentioned more content and better retail and best value, but what does that really mean? Well, let's start with more content. Customers access new capabilities through our hyper-fast JSON-based APIs. Whether they're seeing that in their agent SmartPoint desktop, sitting on top of our APIs, or through their own tools that are integrated with our APIs. Those new RESTful APIs are a developer's dream, greatly easing their integration with Travelport Plus. One early example of this is actually NDC. Travelport's increased investment in NDC has both Qantas and Singapore in production, with major airlines across the Americas and Europe also on pace for a 2021 delivery. This year, NDC is also available in SmartPoint, our agent point of sale tool that is both used and loved by agents that work in it every single day. To go back to what Jen said about building trust into the retail process, our focus isn't just on shopping and booking, but end to end through all the traveler servicing. NDC has long promised to enable personalized offers tailored to individual travelers. Agents can now pass frequent flyer information to Qantas during that shopping process, enabling Qantas to provide the best offers to specific travelers, including things like 20% off platinum discounts, extra miles, seat waivers, and more. What did I mean when I said better retailing? Well, NDC is the answer to that too. Since travelers increasingly expect personalization, NDC enables our early adopters to access better retailing tools. NDC isn't some future capability for Travelport Plus, it's actually working today. Getting NDC up and running is super important for our agency partners because airlines are increasingly introducing products that are available uniquely via NDC. So whether you're an online travel agency leveraging those JSON APIs for shopping, booking, and servicing, or an agent supporting a traveler via SmartPoint, NDC is both mission critical and baked into the Travelport Plus platform today. Our new cache content, enhanced with robotics, expands the speed with which agencies can access offers. Agencies can use this to excite customers about traveler products that are both available and cool. Leveraging that cache not just for market prices, but also as a marketing tool to actually help drive demand. We're giving customers insight into where and when to fly, what destinations are being searched, enabling agencies to tailor their retail experiences, promote popular products, and sell more. Like any of us, as a buyer, if I have left with more than I had originally hoped to find, I had a really good experience in the sales process. The JSON APIs support all of this. We're continually enhancing our search, our shop, with crazy fast response times. But while response times matter, I'm even more excited about what the APIs are enabling. Our new integrated search capabilities, things such as attribute-led search. These help agencies become better retailers of airline, hotel, and car products. They can filter and position the most relevant products on those virtual shelves. And beyond all these amazing capabilities, I'm also incredibly excited about the value that our solution drives into the marketplace. Fully automated exchanges is a game changer in trip management. And through Travelport Plus, we are dramatically improving upon our existing exchange capabilities. Retailers on our microservices can enable travelers to self-service when their plans change. The ability to easily select the best alternatives for travel needs while eliminating calls to agencies and airlines. That helps save time in the airline and agency operations. It's a really fun time to be at Travelport and a great time to be a Travelport customer. Perhaps not such a great time to be one of our competitors. Before I hand off, improving content choice via NDC, enabling high-performing sales channels, furthering trip management through enhanced automated exchanges. All of this is coming right now. A bit of a chapter 1, so to speak. We want to talk a little more about what is right around the corner, and Sharon Doyle, our Global VP of Product Management, is going to share some more. Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle, and hello to all of you from around the world. I'm Sharon Doyle, and I lead our product management team. Coming very soon after what Kyle outlined, we'll release more important tools to support better traveler experiences. We're delivering greater trip management tools within SmartPoint, including new functionality that supports improved rich content quoting and itinerary information for travelers that can be customized by the agent. Also through SmartPoint, consultants will have better scope to automate more voluntary ticket exchanges for carriers that don't file CAT 31s, saving more time for both agency and airline, as well as making it easier for the traveler to manage their trips. Fulfilling the promise of NDC isn't just a one-time thing either. We continue to build on the capabilities already available to Qantas in Singapore, while adding additional airlines and enabling additional capabilities such as ancillaries and bundles, which are important to everyone, not just airlines and agencies, but also to that traveler. You may recall that we announced an extension to our agreement with American Airlines, but we're also engaged with airlines in EMEA, enabling NDC functionalities specific to each airline's goals there. Some of these things that are emerging are completely new to the world, things like new ancillaries and bundles, or ways to price airline products. And some are small things that we tend to take for granted in the GDS space, but are new to NDC that have to be built out there. We recently released some findings on what's most important in the NDC space to travel agencies, both corporate and leisure, to airlines and to corporations, and rising to the top were things necessary to serve as reservations. And while some things may seem basic, like retrieving a PNR, knowing what has been booked, or managing schedule changes, all are critical in the travel ecosystem. And sometimes airlines are adding NDC capabilities that have different ways they want to support their customers. And that's where the flexibility that Kyle talked about is built into the system. Travelport Plus is also extending trip management to the traveler to self-manage their itinerary post-booking. With this, travelers can inquire and make changes to their itinerary, things like understanding the cost to change, choosing a new flight option they want to change to, adding baggage, selecting seats, and completing check-in, all via a portal that can be accessed via any device. All of this supports a better traveler experience and drives upsells, creating wins for agencies, for suppliers, and for travelers alike. There's more to come in new retailing tools as well, as we assume to introduce new tools that put the right product in front of the right traveler. So Kyle talked about Chapter 1. I've just spoken to you about Chapter 2. Now let's hear from John Eliason, who's going to talk about Chapter 3 of our Travelport Plus story.
Hi all, I'm John Eliason, Chief Operating Officer at Travelport, and I'm here to share some more about what's coming this year. I've spent most of my career on airline decision technologies, and quite a bit of that working with revenue optimization. At Travelport, we've been investing in revenue optimization tools for our agency customers, and we're bringing a lot of that together, making it simpler and easier to use. Travelport's helping agencies optimize in two ways. It starts with content, putting the right options on the shelf for the right traveler. That kind of content management runs across different types of products, and we've expanded this to hotels, enabling agencies to better match rates with travelers. That's obviously great for agencies as it puts them in the driver's seat in terms of monetizing demand. But it's also great for the corporate customer or just the traveler looking for the right rate at the right time. But it's also great for hoteliers. It allows them to improve their likelihood of capitalizing on their preferred partner program. How many winners are there in that? So content management is step one, driving inventory to the people most likely to purchase it. The second part of revenue optimization is margin. And we're continuing to get more discreet on that too. We're extending margin management tools across new fare types, which extends the agency's ability to optimize its own business. Not every agency will have a need for it, but for those agencies that can take advantage of it, it's extremely valuable. Plus, the ability to target the right products benefits our supplier partners at the same time. Similarly, we're introducing some new agency automation tools later this year that can drive costs out of the agency business. Having the right workflow is really important for everyone. Having the right automation of that workflow is super important for the larger agencies. I want to be clear that what we're doing here is for the benefit of all our customers. Kyle and Sharon spoke about new and enhanced automated exchanges. We're also bringing those new capabilities to our agency desktop. For those consumers that need a little help with trip management when plans change, Travelport Plus is enabling that, ensuring that an agent or travel counselor can easily and efficiently help that traveler, turning transactions that can take 45 minutes into one that can take 4 to 5 minutes. That's not only better for agency costs, but it provides a level of service travelers may not have experienced before. And it helps solidify that trusting relationship that Jen talked about. Now, we've had automated exchange tools for quite a while, but this is far beyond. Faster, more powerful, a complete game changer. From the conversations we've had with customers who've not yet upgraded to Travelport Plus, we know that many are taking the steps to complete their upgrade to the new platform. What are the drivers of that? Well, Kyle started out with it. More content, better retail, best value. NDC's enabling more content. Getting surgical with shopping enables better retail. And driving costs out of exchanges creates value. We hope you're all as excited about this as we are.
Thank you, John. I'll tell you that those of us in marketing are incredibly excited about this because it is amazing to have a unique set of products that sets you apart from your competition. That just makes our jobs a lot easier and a lot more fun. Now, Greg mentioned earlier that we have embarked on a collaboration with Amazon Web Services. That is so much more than a cloud deal for us. Amazon wanted a partner in the travel industry that really wants to innovate around the travel retailing experience and work together to drive that innovation. Here's David Peller, Managing Director of Travel and Hospitality at Amazon Web Services, to talk about just that.
Thanks, Jen. I'm David Peller, Managing Director of Travel and Hospitality at Amazon Web Services, the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform. And reflecting the global nature of our business, I'm based here in Singapore. Companies around the world across every size and segment of the travel and hospitality industry build their business on AWS. This includes industry leaders like Airbnb, Avis Budget, Cathay Pacific, Choice Hotels, Expedia Group, Star Alliance, United Airlines, and Wyndham Hotels and Resorts. These companies and many others are transforming their business by leveraging technology to enhance customer experiences and increase operational efficiency, becoming more agile and building what's next for travel and hospitality. AWS is delighted to have been selected by Travelport as its preferred cloud provider to help create a simpler, smarter, and better future for travel retailing. The collaboration will focus first on optimizing Travelport Plus, leveraging high-performance compute from AWS to scale travel search processing capacity while maintaining superior performance. Additionally, Travelport Plus will leverage AWS's global network to cache content at the edge, speeding up content delivery by bringing it closer to users. Travelport's migration to AWS will also enable Travelport to improve personalization with machine learning and advanced analytics. While many technical factors played a role in the collaboration between Travelport and AWS, what really brought us together was our shared culture of innovation. At AWS, we often note the importance of leadership that is willing to invent and reinvent to solve real customer problems. And as the world begins to travel again and travelers' expectations change around us, never has this been more relevant. Working with Travelport, we see an organization who, like us, is committed to inventing on behalf of customers. Travelport is moving fast, taking risks, and refusing to be constrained by old ways of working. Travelport's shift to the AWS cloud is a key pillar of its reinvention. And as we kick off our collaboration, Travelport and AWS are launching a strategic program to identify and enable entrepreneurial startups to accelerate the next generation of travel innovation. Really look forward to seeing this and many other initiatives come to life as Travelport brings forward a simpler, smarter, and better future for travel retailing, a mission we at AWS are delighted to support. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, David. We are so very excited to be working with you and your team, and I can't wait to see what new products, features, and retailing innovations come out of our accelerator program. More on that soon. Now, we thought it would be great to hear from some customers of ours who are already working with the Travelport Plus platform. Greg had a chance to catch up recently with Allison Taylor from American Airlines on the supplier side, as well as Dana Dunn from eDreams Odigeo on the agency side.
All right, Allison, so tell us a little bit what you guys took on during the pandemic and now even moving forward that's around trying to build that traveler trust.
Oh, just so important. I think it was important as well across the travel ecosystem, not just us. We're just a portion of it. So I think it was great to see the industry get together on this. And yes, we at American had our clean commitment because initially when it all started, people, of course, were thinking about just direct cleanliness of anything they touched or, of course, anyone they were close to. So we made sure that people were educated on the HEPA filters because, as you know, it's better than being in an operating theatre in a hospital. So there was a lot of education with our corporate accounts, our travel agency partners, and our suppliers in general. And we spent probably months just on virtual calls educating. And then we employed as well and worked with the Vanderbilt University Medical Center and their chief epidemiologist so that we were basing it on data and also science and expert advice. And we did that for our team members as much as we did it for customers.
Fantastic. Yeah. So obviously the world's gotten much more complex, and during this time period, I know that you have a real focus on the retail experience and what you guys are doing, not just through your distribution channels, but also in person, the way that you're managing your airports and gate staff. And so tell me a little bit about how you think about the sales and service and the retailing aspect of where you're headed into the future.
Yeah, we want to make self-service something that is intuitive and relevant to all our travellers. That means both on our apps and AA.com, but also when you get to the airport with the kiosks. And as you know, we tried our app clips during the time where even if you don't have our app, you can scan a QR code and check in on your phone and also print your bag tag and also have your boarding pass. So things like that really help people have a touchless journey and self-service. And the reason we want that is not because we don't want them to talk to our team, but to free the team members up from having their head down and checking people in to actually looking after the customer. People as they travel now have a lot of questions about the testing, about all the information they need to get into a country or even a state at some stages. And also we want to be more personalised, and this is where I think distribution and our retail strategy really comes to the fore. We want to be more personalised with our offers. For our corporate customers and agencies, we want to be able to offer bundles so that their customers get what is approved in their corporate program and it's served up easily. And this, working with Travelport and NDC and our other retail players, this just makes it much easier.
So as you think about kind of the distribution network and obviously the way that we've partnered with you, both in traditional ways, but also on NDC, what are the things that you think of that that both corporate customers as well as agencies, what are things that we can do and things that you think of that are important for them moving forward?
I think one of the biggest things you can do for us, you're doing. You have a great partnership with us. We've renewed our partnership. We have rich content together, and you've gone ahead and done NDC. And that is really forward thinking, because that enables us to be able to give that content to our corporate customers, our agency partners, TMCs, and also be able to those bundles I referred to. For example, we've just launched Main Plus. You're selling Main Plus. And that is a great bundle for someone who's chosen to fly economy. May not be for an executive platinum or CK customer, but we would hopefully serve them up something different, right, that's suitable for their travel. But that Main Plus gives people a great bundle of, yeah, I'll take that seat in MCE. I'll take that bag, thank you. And it makes it easy to do that, rather than having to go to 6 or 7 places, perhaps to fulfill their needs for that travel. And I think Travelport are doing a great job on that.
Thank you.
And actually, I've seen it, Greg, and I've seen since you started that it's a renewed focus on partnership, and that means a lot to us. And you're being able to drive NDC forward, which I think really behooves for the customer, everything they want to get done, which is more important than what we want to get done.
If you were talking, which you may be as part of this, to a group of travel agencies, what would you say to them that they could do most to partner with American to drive your vision?
I think honestly it would be to make sure that they look at NDC seriously. That doesn't mean that they need to go around their traditional partners. In fact, all it does is cement you with traditional partners, I think. And I would suggest that they try and look at it, because now more than ever, everyone's looking at cost. It can be a very cost-efficient way to buy our inventory as well, and also it makes it just easier, I think, for the customers eventually. Everyone, like we all do, with our mobile phones, apps, everyone expects to be able to self-service while they're on the road. NDC and our other retail solutions help you do that.
Any last words, things that we didn't touch on that you'd like to make sure that
Only
people
a
hear?
really big thank you, frankly, to your audience for the agencies, the partnership during a very tough 18 months. We really think that during the pandemic, everyone came together in the ecosystem, and I thought that was great to see. Didn't matter if it was cruise lines or the associations or our partners.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I obviously enjoy you personally and appreciate the partnership, and thanks for hosting us in what is a spectacular space. So thanks so very much.
We're very proud of our headquarters. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Thank you.
Alison.
Thanks.
I thought we'd start a little bit with, you guys have had an incredible run in what you've been able to accomplish with the business, even during COVID-19. And so just a little bit of your thoughts on kind of the future of travel retailing and how you guys think about it at eDreams.
Absolutely. So 2020 was a real unique year for, I think, all of us, both personally and professionally. But on the professional side, we really looked at this as an opportunity, and an opportunity for us to get better and better and better to really deliver a best-in-class travel experience for our customers. And so we chose 4 things to really focus on that we really thought were really critical and important for the future of travel retailing. And so those 4 things were really, first is our subscription program. So we have a groundbreaking leading subscription program, the first in the travel industry. The second one is around product diversification, to continue to diversify our business, to be a one-stop shop for our customers. And the third one is around increasing customer service automation and really doing something that no one's done before around automating the customer service area from end to end in the flights part of the business. And then the lastly, and extremely important, is the connectivity part of it, the content and connectivity focus part of the business. And so that these really form our offering, so to speak, so that we give customers the best choice, the best value for money in their experience, and ultimately be their one-stop travel companion for all of their needs. Now, you could see in this, Travelport really, really does play an incredibly important role in helping us become really the premier retailer for the future.
So you're one of our first high volume users of Travelport Plus, even really before its official, launch in the marketplace. What's been your impression so far as you guys have adopted that as a platform?
Very impressive. So the results have been really, really good. Better results than I would say than what we were expecting on it. And so overall, really pleased. I also would say that the team, because it is a new platform, the team has been very responsive and continuing to ask us for feedback, to see then how we could do things differently to make it even better, the platform and its impact upon our own results. And so really impressed by not just the product itself and the technology, but by the team and the people within that really support it and take it one step further to really have impact upon our business.
How do you think about your kind of multi-year roadmap for enhancing the retailing experience over the next several years?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, we have very ambitious plans and goals, right? To really be the premier leader in travel. And we're already, just in the past year, we've moved from number 3 to number 2 globally in flights for it. And we don't want to stop there, right? Our ambitions are very bold. And so part of that is underpinning it is one is about having the leading travel subscription program, really disrupting the industry, doing things in a new and different way, and making sure that we really have a win for our customers. It's doing something in a new and unique way. And that also makes really good sense for our company as a whole.
So Dana, obviously the industry where it is right now, the airlines have kind of come back in terms of schedule, but they haven't come back in terms of staffing. And so a lot of the burden of servicing customers right now is falling to you and to other agencies. How are you guys dealing with that increased volume of just need for customer care?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very important one. And again, because of our company, and we want to have a relationship, not just a transaction with customers, it's really important that we really service them well. We had started pre-pandemic actually being rated #1 OTA in terms of servicing customers, customer satisfaction, and actually we're even #1 versus all of the major airlines in Europe as well. And so we take it as part of our DNA and real pride. So having said that, when the pandemic hit, we had to give and dedicate a lot more resources to it than what we normally would. And we did that very willingly. Our cost structure did go up as a result of that, but we felt it was the right thing for the customer. In the end, we also launched at the same time in parallel was a customer service automation project so that we could automate all of these processes and procedures and be the first one in the flight industry to automate that. Now, in order to automate it, you've got to connect to other systems like the Travelports. And we have to say is that, all the feedback I got was extremely impressive about just the responsiveness of the Travelport team so that we could actually create these automated links to be able to service customers, to be able to status their refunds, to understand the backlogs of it, to process actual cancellations, et cetera. And the Travelport platform and team were just absolutely superb in having us be able to do this for our customers.
We're almost done here, and I want to thank you all again for joining us. If I could sum up, we see Travelport Plus not only as a major step forward for Travelport, but as a major step towards modernizing the entire idea of the retail experience for travel. We are at a unique time in history where we can use these technology tools to reset our relationships with travelers and build stronger, more trusted ties between travelers, suppliers, and agencies. There is nothing normal about returning to normal, but here at Travelport, we believe that returning means returning to something even better. I know we had asked for questions, but we've promised you an hour and we're running a little bit long. So if you had a question, please contact your Travelport rep and we'll get you the answers you need. Even if you didn't have a question, they're always there for you. So thank you again for spending the last hour with us. If you missed a bit or you would like to share it with others, this whole hour will be available for viewing on our site, www.travelport.com/plus. From all of us here at Travelport to our clients and partners and friends, we will see you in the future.